by our rights-holding broadcasters has also increased by around the same percentage point, but of course a higher number in absolute terms, which again reflects the overall consumption patterns. Then moving on to some key data in terms of digital. So the IOC before the Games consolidated some of the key Olympic handles under Olympics.com as the umbrella home for a lot of the Olympic properties, including Tokyo 2020. And the two key statistics out of that is that on the similarly consolidated Olympic social media handles, there were 6.1 billion engagements. So this means likes, comments, shares, or video views on Olympic posts. And secondly, we had 196 million unique viewers on the Olympics.com web and app, which is an increase of 3.4 times the 58 million that Rio recorded, and actually a significant increase on the 108 million going back to London 2012. Then a look at some of the consumer research, I think demonstrating quite clearly the enduring strength and appeal of the Olympic Games and of the Olympic brand. On the left, you can see that one of the shout-outs of the consumer research is that the Olympic Games continues to be the most appealing sports and entertainment property as decided by the people canvassed. And 9 out of 10 people were able to correctly identify the symbol of the Olympic rings unprompted. And lastly, some consumer feedback. So 65% or almost 2 in 3 people deemed the Tokyo 2020 to have been a success. 59% considered that the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 represented a light at the end of the tunnel in our continuing exit out of the pandemic, and then 60% also expect that the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 will leave a positive legacy for Tokyo and Japan. And that concludes my summary, Mark.
Thank you very much, Timo. So we come to the question and answer in just a moment. Just give you one more piece of news, which is one more decision, change of nationality, which the IOC Executive Board approved the changes of nationality for 2 athletes today for the Olympic Winter Games Beijing 2022. Ms. Kamila Kozubak, snowboard from Canada to Hungary, and Ms. Elsa Desmond in luge from Great Britain to Ireland. The EB granted the requested exemption to the 3-year waiting period with the prior agreement of the International Federation and the National Olympic Committee in line with the Olympic Charter. Okay, let us go now to questions and answers. If you want to ask a question, please press the raise hand button and we will get to as many people from the 100 people we have as we can. So let us start with Carlos Groman from Reuters. Carlos, your question, please.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. President. A question to you, if I may, on the diplomatic boycott issue regarding Beijing 2022. We've seen now Australia and the UK come out with a diplomatic boycott for Beijing. Are you at all concerned that the number of countries may be growing as we approach Beijing, and that may damage the preparations for the Olympics? Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I forgot the microphone. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. The IOC has always been concerned with the participation of the athletes in the Olympic Games, and therefore we welcome the support for their Olympic team, all these governments have been emphasizing. This is giving the athletes a certainty, and this is again what the IOC is about. And this line is also in full accordance with the approval by consensus of all the 193 UN member states, which includes all these governments, with their support for the Olympic truce resolution, which in fact is requesting the UN member states to cooperate with the IOC and the IPC with regard to a successful organization of the Games. The presence of governments officials is a purely political decision for each government. And also for this political decision, the principle of the political neutrality of the IOC applies.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, President. Let's go now to Japan, to Wakako Yuki from Yomiuri Shimbun. Wakako. Can you hear us, Wakako? Yep, coming through now. Yeah.
Good. At last. Thank you very much again for the opportunity, President.
Good evening.
Morning from Uri.
Good morning already.
Hours in Japan. Thank you indeed for your and Timo's summary of this unprecedented Olympic year, especially Tokyo 2020. It is good to know the views of athletes as well as a lot of viewers around the world, which might be testimony of the success of the competition part. But when we are already having some kind of initial stir of 2030 Winter Games with the Sapporo launching their bidding plan late last month. And one question comes around always. Tokyo 2020, while competition was safe and success, perhaps all those pivotal supporters, like on the business side or the political side, seems to hover some impression that Tokyo 2020's effect didn't come to scratch their expectation. Business effect, as well as, of course, including sponsors' expectations, or you may say governments did not gain, partly because of the COVID-19, of course, political popularity because of the games. So in a way, what is the way that the bidders or even the IOC would try to pinpoint, direct all those future games host, future games bid inclusive, to see how do we see the value as well as significance of hosting the games during or post-pandemic era. Thank you.
Thank you, Wakako. Let me put that one first to Timo Lume. Timo.
Thank you, Wakako. So in my extensive debriefings and discussions with particularly the top partners, I think some of the key messages that have come through is that, of course, it was very well understood by everyone that some of the activities such as showcasing or hospitality, attendance of foreign guests had to be restricted purely because of the COVID countermeasures. But I think that, and moving on, and you were asking particularly in the context of perhaps a Sapporo bid, but also looking at future games, one thing that has come out very clear from the debriefs with the top partners is that they see increasing value in the association with the IOC, the Olympic movement, and the Olympic Games. and that is of course from their side a commercial calculation, but it really grounds itself in the continuing importance of the Olympic Games and the mission of the IOC, and particularly the way that these things are being addressed, not only in terms of games time sponsorship, but also in terms of the activities of the IOC being developed outside. So here we are talking about the development of the digital that I mentioned, but also importantly the focus on athletes and the many purpose-led activities, growing the footprint of the IOC's activities in areas outside of games organisation. So what they are seeing is a values-based organisation really delivering on the mission of the IOC, and I think this is making us feel quite comfortable moving forwards in our relationships with future organising committees, future bidders, but also, of course, the top partners.
Thanks, Timo. President, do you want to add something?
Maybe with regard to their Sapporo 2030, I think we can be pretty confident that in 2030 we will not need the COVID countermeasures as in Tokyo, and will not have the restrictions for top partners, for spectators, for participants, for everybody. And the Sapporo project is also very different from the Tokyo project with regard to the use of existing facilities. There, Sapporo practically has it all. So it's a very different starting point for Sapporo than it was for Tokyo 8 years ago.
Thank you very much, Wakako. Let's go now to Alex Capstick from the BBC. Alex, your question, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah, okay.
Hear and see you, Alex.
Very good, thank you very much. Yeah, just a quick follow-up to the first question on the number of countries joining or deciding to announce diplomatic boycotts. I mean, your reaction to, please, Mr. President, to the announcement by Boris Johnson today that the UK he announced a diplomatic boycott by the UK. I mean, first of all, your reaction to that, and what impact do you think this will have on the integrity of the Games? And again, how concerned are you that more countries will join, as it seems they will?
The integrity of the Games are about the integrity of the sports competitions. And therefore, we have our full focus, on the athletes. The Games are about and for the athletes, and therefore you will hear the same comment from us for every political decision from any government. We have been concerned with the athletes. We welcome that they can participate, that they are supported by their national governments, and the rest is politics, and our political neutrality, the principle is applied.
Thank you very much. Let's go now to AP, to Graham Dunbar from Associated Press. Graham, your question, please.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. Mr. Bartlett, return to the subject of your video calls with Peng Shuai. Clearly, your participation and that of the chairman of the Athletes Commission hasn't really done a lot to reassure many people in the tennis world. would you consider inviting someone from that world to be part of a future call, another call, someone who's independent and genuine, someone like Martina Navratilova, for example, who's very trusted within that world, someone like her who has also grown up in a in a communist party society and would well understand some of the pressures and the nuances that are being brought to bear. Have you considered extending an invitation like that? And do you plan to have another video call soon?
We had indeed in one of the calls a native Chinese there with us who shared the impression we all had on this call. And we will continue the contact with Peng Shuai. There we will continue to support her, but you also have to understand in order to be able to do this, you have to build trust, you have to build confidence, and there, I think there the athletes and a chair of an athlete commission, female athlete, the female Olympian, is as independent as somebody from another community. But I would also not like to exclude it. This will depend on the future calls, and we have seen her appearing also in the tennis community at the promotion of events, and let these talks going on, because we have achieved, I think so far with these talks, what we could reasonably be expected to achieve. The most important human right is the physical integrity, and the physical integrity we have been ensuring during these calls, and we will continue the calls, and we will continue the support, and this is the most important. It's about an individual, it's about an athlete, and there you have to take care of this human being. You have to approach a human being. You have to respect this human being, and in such a fragile situation Peng Shuai is in, you have to make all the efforts to build trust, to engage in a human relationship, and this, as you think can appreciate, is not easy in a video call. But there, this is why we said we want to keep in touch. We want to have other calls, and we want to keep there supporting her, and in this way being ensured about her physical integrity as much as we can.
Thank you.
Would there not be an instant bond of trust with Martina? She wouldn't even need to build it with her, because she's a legend within her sport, and someone like that would have an instant.
But why don't you respect Peng Shuai in this, and let her decide where her the priorities are, and to see, as I said, will not exclude anything of this, but this is now about ensuring her physical integrity in a personal and human relationship, building with her, and there also respecting her. If such an evolution would come, we would have nothing against at all. But again, we have ensured the most important human right, and this is the physical integrity.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Graham. Let's go to Ed Hula now from Around the Rings. Ed, your question, please, to the President or Timo, or indeed we have Yanis Exarchos and we also have Christophe Duby. So please go ahead. Ed, we see you. I think you might be on mute. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're on mute.
There we go.
Please go ahead. We can hear you now.
All right. Sorry for the interruption there. My question is about the UN Olympic truce resolution that was adopted a couple of weeks ago. 173 nations signed it. A number of very prominent countries did not. The United States in particular, Australia, Canada, the UK, France, Italy, all hosts of upcoming games. In its explanation to the United Nations, the United States cited human rights violations, concern about China and human rights violations. Mr. President, are you disappointed about the politicization of the Olympic truce resolution? I think it's the first time something like that has happened. And doesn't that send a message to the IOC, though, that human rights must be a consideration before games are awarded to any country in the future?
No. First of all, it's not the first time that it's happening, that after the adoption of a resolution, a member state is making some general remarks. And we had this even in the Olympic truce resolutions in the past, and even more numerous ones than the one we had here by the US representative after the adoption by consensus. This adoption or the co-sponsoring by 173 member states is for Winter Games a very high number, and it means, co-sponsoring is a special expression of support. And then comes on this special expression of support, then comes the adoption by consensus. And there it was adopted by all the 193 member states of the UN. And the explanation then was given, or the statement by the US was made after this adoption, and was, not related to, in no way, to the IOC or the games happening as such. The US representative expressed the US government's concerns about the human rights situation in China in general.
Thank you very much, Ed. Let's go to Coralie Fevre from AFP. Coralie, are you there? Your question, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
A quick question about Afghanistan. What about the evacuation of further members of the Afghan Olympic community? Is it still an objective, and has it become more difficult than during the very first week?
This is a work in progress, definitely, and there is the contacts on different sides are established on the ground in Afghanistan, but also with regard to then the possible evacuation. But you're absolutely right with your second assumption that it has become more difficult to get a humanitarian visa for people from Afghanistan than it was at the very beginning of this evacuation procedures. But nevertheless, we are in talks with a number of governments, and we hope that one or the other will come to further fruition. But because this has slowed down, unfortunately, this was also a reason why we reinforced this humanitarian aid program to help the members of our community there on the ground to overcome the very harsh winter there in Afghanistan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the States. Nancy Armour from USA Today. Nancy, if you're there, please put your question. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for doing this. President Bach, I'm curious, you have said that the IOC is politically neutral, but the New York Times published a story today in which it looked at efforts to control the dialogue or control the conversation on Peng Shuai's case. And it said that your calls were an important part of this strategy. You claim that you're politically neutral, but aren't you, by your absence of actually saying anything, of being critical of China, aren't you siding with them or taking their side in this instance or this situation? And also, too, how would you describe the human rights situation in China right now?
Oh, the first question is a clear no by not commenting on political issues. You're not taking a side, neither the one nor the other. And this is, the mission of the IOC. Otherwise, we could not manage to accomplish the mission there of the games to bring and to unite the world. If we would start to take political sides on one way or the other, we would never get all the 205 or 206 national Olympic committees to Olympic Games. This would be the politicization of the Olympic Games, and this, if I would think it further, could be the end of the Olympic Games, as it was the end of the ancient Olympic Games when politics got involved after 1,000 years of Olympic Games. And then the Roman Emperor intervened for political reasons. It was the end of the Games. And also the ancient Greeks already knew that the Games, to exist, need this political neutrality. And this has not changed. It has even become more important in this confrontational world we are living in, and in this divisive world, where the tensions are rising high, and if the Games would even contribute to rising tensions, this would be absolutely contrary to our mission. And on the other hand, our mission and our responsibility is to ensure that everything related to the Olympic Games, with the organization to the Olympic Games, so that the Olympic Charter and the host contract is fully respected. This includes there the respect for human rights of all the participants. This includes freedom of press, as you know, and a number of other issues. And on this, we are working closely with the organizing committee. And on this, you may have heard yesterday from our Olympic Games Executive Director, Christophe Deby. We have no reason to doubt that our Chinese partners will deliver on these commitments as they have done during the test events.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Let's go to Australia to Tracy Holmes from ABC. Tracy, your question, please.
Hi there. Thanks very much for taking my question. President Bach, you know that the relationship between many Western nations and China is, possibly at one of its worst positions in many, many years at least. There is suspicion that Peng Shuai is detained at best, maybe at home and under surveillance. And there is suspicion about any kind of public appearance of her, including your video conversation with her, her turning up at a tennis tournament. So I'm just wondering if there is any kind of detail that you can provide as far as your conversations with her, who instigated those. Did it come from the Chinese side or your side? Did it have to go through particular party officials? Any of that sort of detail that maybe can help allay some of the suspicions and the doubt around the conversations and the relationship that you have and that you say will be ongoing.
We have tried to explain this. Our contacts, which we have made from the very beginning, are with the sports organization in China. And the emphasis is on the sport, and we said that we have initiated this contact, and we have also they're given our impressions there from the call or from the calls there, and I just also mentioned, that. We had there in the first call, there was a native Chinese there also observing the call to be able to give us, in case of need, some cultural background. And all of us have, in both respects, with regard to the preparation with the sports organizations, and also for in the running of the calls, we all were having the same impression, and that we could not feel her being under pressure. And for the rest, we can only report, what she reported in the call, and can give this, this assurance from our impression. And of course, many people are saying, there are suspicions here and there. It's very easy to have suspicions. But suspicions you can have always and about everything. What again our approach is to get this relationship with her, and to get the human feeling with her, to assure her that we are caring about her. This is what she appreciated very much there during both calls, and there, you have also to have a certain confidence in the participants, of the calls, and this is why in the second call it was an IOC team. So to broaden even, our experience with her, and to get more views. But again, what was reported to me about this second call confirmed the impression we had during the first call.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. We are approaching the hour mark, so I think we're going to take one last question now. Obviously, the President will be back tomorrow, so there'll be more questions for more opportunity tomorrow. But let's finish with Liam Morgan, please, from Inside the Games. Liam, your question, please.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, very, very well. Please, I can see you as well now. Thank you.
Wonderful.
That pleasure.
Please
put your question.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I hope everything is okay in Lausanne. Just quickly on boxing and weightlifting, Paris was supposed to be on the agenda today. Is there any update on their status for Paris 2024, specifically weightlifting? Because obviously, they had to cancel their Congress next week because of governance issues. Has that affected their bid to keep their place at the Games in Paris? Thank you.
There, Liam, I have to ask you for your patience. I'm sorry, but this will be on the agenda tomorrow, and I'll be happy to report then in tomorrow's press conference there in detail about both weightlifting and boxing, where the respective responsible people will report, and then the IOC executive board will take decision or take note. Will depend on the report. I really ask for your understanding.
Thank you very much, Liam. Thank you very much to everyone. As I say, 100 people. We tried to get through as many as we could in the hour. We will be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock, the President and I. Thank you very much to all the participants, and see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, and see you tomorrow.